Girl, I'm in my soft guy, Eric Drizzle, Drizzle. Girl, I'm in my soft guy, Eric Drizzle, Drizzle. Let's get into this woman's comment, right? So I have a video up called Confirming Dates Kills Attraction. And in that video, I talk about how when you confirm a date with a woman, more often than not, you're going to find that they probably cancel. Even if she wanted to keep the date initially, there are things and psychological reasons why when you confirm a date with a woman, it can result in her having second guessing herself and causing her to cancel the date. So what this woman's response was such bad advice. That's all she said, right? So I actually responded to her. I wrote a really nice comment. I said, thank you for leaving commentary. And I said, what did I say? Well, basically what the gist of what I said is what I'm gonna tell you guys is this, right? Is that I have women at times that will comment under my videos and say things like, that's bad advice, or I would never fall for that. Or, you know, if a guy waited 4 days between dates not to text me, then I would just stop dating him and blah, 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 right? I get these comments quite often from women. And so what I said to her basically was that it's interesting that when a guy is doing something that a woman's unaware of he's doing, it'll work. Like, for example, right? If I don't text a woman between dates, I've just found that when I wait 4 days to call her up, I found in my journey of dating that more often than not, that resulted in me getting second dates and third dates and hookups and eventually relationships. I found that when I was trying to text every day and call nonstop, that resulted in her starting to think I was too needy, her starting to lose attraction, her ghosting me, and us not getting to any kind of thing, right? And so I said, same thing goes with the confirming dates. I found in my journey that I would set up dates and then like the day before or the day of, I'd call them, hey, so are we still on for the date? And then they'd be like, yeah, sure. And then a couple hours later, oh, something came up. Oh, I can't. Oh, something, I can't go all of a sudden. Oh my God. Or I had one girl who just didn't show up at all. Like just didn't happen, right? And so I was doing this confirming. And then per my studies, I read about like not confirming dates and how confirming a date is almost like when you ask a woman on a date, you're basically doing a sales job. You're saying, hey, based on these things, I think we'd have a good time. What do you say? And then she says yes to that, right? So you get everything set down. You say, okay, great. Date's going to be at this time, this day, whatever. You set it up, you go, right? When you call her or text her to reconfirm the date, you're basically reopening up the sales process. Now, I was a person that did sales a long time, right? And in sales, what they taught me is that the worst thing you could do at the point where the prospect has agreed to buy the product is to keep talking. When you reconfirm a date, you're basically continuing to talk. And that now a woman's having to start again at square one with you as if you'd never asked her out, except now she doesn't have all the backing before that you gave her to qualify yourself enough to make her want to have a date with you, right? So it's like you went through this whole thing. We should go out because blah, blah, blah. We have a good time. We take this and we show you this, blah, blah, blah. Then you hit her up. Hey, so are we still on for that date? And now she's thinking, on for the date? Oh, that's right. We had a date today. Did I want to really do that? Not really. But she was sold the day before. So when I read that, right, I was like, that's stupid. Just like this woman. Oh, that's such bad advice. That's so dumb. But I was at a point in my life where I was like, I'm already doing bad with women. It couldn't hurt to try some of this stuff. So I tried it. I hit up a girl. I set up a date with her, made up all the details. Great. I'll see you tomorrow. The first time I tried this of not confirming, it took everything in me to keep on to the strength of not trying to contact this girl because I was so sure she wasn't going to keep the date. And guess what happened? She, an hour before the date, hit me up. Hey, so-and-so, just want to make sure that we're still on for the date. Now, why was she doing that? Because up to this point in her life, she's had every other guy in her life confirm the date, and more often than not, she probably canceled. By me not trying to call her from the date, now it causes her to second guess herself. Like, he's not calling to reconfirm. Why doesn't he want to see this date still happening? Maybe he's canceled the date. Maybe I'm not good enough now for him to want to keep this date. So I got to double check with him to make sure that he finds me still good enough to keep this date. And I found since I stopped confirming dates, I got more dates kept. Did they all go to relationships? No, but the point is I still got those first and second dates when I didn't confirm versus the amount of dates that I was losing when I was confirming, thus showing her that I was not feeling worthy enough for her to actually want to keep her word with the date and thus causing her to view me as less than attractive, right? So I said a shorter version of that to her. I said that, so based on my experience, this is why I say this. Now I said, what's also interesting though is that I find it funny that when guys do certain things, like I just talked about, that they will actually work. But at the point that you point them out to women, their response is going to be, that doesn't work. That can't be a thing. If some guy did this to me, I would never. And I said, I think the reason, my hypothesis on this, is that women don't like to feel like they're being manipulated, or that the decisions that they're making are the results of things that you're doing, which means it's putting you in control of them. They don't want to feel like that because it gives that vibe of like they're manipulating me, they're making me do things that I don't actually want to do, but they're subconsciously making me want to do it. And so this is why, as a guy, I tend to not have these conversations with women that I'm dating. Like, once we're in the throes of the dating process, most women I find, I can be like, hey, so this is how I attracted you and blah, 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 blah. And they're usually typically fine with it. But if you're just asking blanket a woman, hey, so if a guy decided not to confirm a date with you, like, would you continue to keep the date? I can assure you, 97% of women are going to be like, oh, no, he has to confirm with me. And this is why if you ever ask a woman this, right, and she gives you that answer, you can respond simply with this. Okay, well, look, don't even, because you never want to do hypothetical stuff with women, right? Because they're going to always, it's a hypothetical guy, hypothetical situation. They're going to be able to BS some stuff to you, right? What you got to do is say, okay, has there ever been a guy in your past who you had the absolute hots for, you really wanted him to go out with you, and he called you up and said, hey, I want to take you out this day, this time, be ready, and he didn't reconfirm? Has there ever been a guy that you went on a first date with and had the best time of your life, and then he had a work thing, he had to go out of town, and for whatever reason, he was not able to call you or initiate a phone call for like 5 to 7 days? And even if she lies to you, I can assure you, every woman has had that guy that she had high interest in that did these things I'm talking about, and she continued to like him. Which is why, as Doc Love used to say, high interest level cuts everything. Everything. Everything that you think you can't do, I assure you there's been a guy that has done it because the woman had high interest. She didn't care. She just wanted that guy. Women that are saying, oh, I'm too busy, I can't make time because of my job. I assure you that woman has gotten off her job early or made time for the guy that she had high interest in. So that's why I say when women say things like, oh, that's such bad advice, it's only bad for guys that she doesn't like, or that she's hypothetically thinking about versus realistically dealing with that she has feeling for, okay? So this is also why, guys, you can't listen to women that give you dating advice for the most part, because it's generally bad advice. Like, because they're coming from a place of hypothetically, these things sound like they should be good and work, and yet when you try them, it's not going to. How do I know this? Because my dad died when I was 9. From age 9 into my dating years, all the advice that I was getting was mostly from women, and none of it worked. So I can assure you that the women that are teaching you stuff, they mean well, but unfortunately, just because they mean well doesn't mean it will work well for you. So you have to be very mindful about that and take things women are saying to you with a grain of salt, because my advice for confirming dates kills attraction isn't coming from a hypothetical place. It's coming from a place of, I tried both versions of this where I confirmed dates and then I didn't confirm dates, and I got better results when I didn't confirm dates. So I'm giving advice from an actual lived perspective. Women are the ones that are receiving the things that we are doing to them. So they're not gonna be able to comprehend why a thing that we're doing will work. They're just thinking it shouldn't work. But just because it shouldn't work doesn't mean it won't work, you know? So you just gotta be mindful of that when you hear this kind of stuff from women, all right?
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class man. You a high class man. You a high class man. You a high earning, high value, high class.